Good morning, traders. Please retweet me if you get a chance and share to your friends some of my videos here. This is all free content. Appreciate it. Like my video below if you get a chance and comments below if you have any questions on the Mag 7. I appreciate it. Uh, and I can maybe give you my analysis of things. Important to note on the daily time frame, many of the Mag 7 are actually crossing out uh, on the above the Ichimoku cloud this morning. So we want to definitely keep that in the back of our minds going forward in today's trading. I'm starting with the ZNs because we have at 8:30 we had the CPI coming out, and what we saw last time the CPI came out, we saw uh, a big pump in yields going into CPI, which after CPI came out, we started seeing the bond market rally, and we might be doing the same thing today. So we are not actually breaking below yesterday's lows this morning, so that's important. And we might be starting to see yields come down in today's session, uh, you know, as the CPI numbers come out. So be very mindful of that. Very important what's going on here with the ZNs and ZBs. I think this has more to do with what's going on with Trump backing off like he did with the China tariffs than anything, because we actually had to have the Federal Reserve last Thursday and add liquidity to the markets. How did they do that? They they took the 30-year treasuries from the auction onto their balance sheet, and they do this as a slack vehicle to absorb the balance of the auction that they could not find buyers before they came. So basically, they shop around before the auction happens nowadays, and if there's not enough buyers out there to for the uh, T-bills that are hitting the auction, the Federal Reserve will absorb that on their balance sheet to and then try to sell that balance sheet off to the global marketplace. Well, that's been great. It's been working since 2007. That's whenever they created the balance sheet. And but now, since we are trying to move the pendulum back to the opposite side, based on trade and everything. One of the big things that's been happening for years is all the world economies have been more than willing to buy U.S. T-bills at a fairly undervalued rate as long as they had access into the U.S. markets. Well, now Trump's unwinding that, so T-bills, yields is probably going to be the casualty of the tariff war. And even a 10% hike potentially could be devastating to long-term yields. And typically at the end of a market cycle, losing control of the long end of the curve, the 10, 20, 30-year bonds, that's the beginning of the market correction. And so we have to be very mindful of this. Main Street does not realize this. The Main Street's coming in here. They're buying the heck out of this market. The biggest inflow of Main Street money ever in history since the April lows. So every mom and pop around the country is coming in here buying up this market and pushing price. Whereas Wall Street has been building up cash reserves. You just know with Warren Buffett and some of these other guys, massive cash reserves. And Wall Street is the smart money. Main Street's the dumb money in theory. So be very mindful of that. One thing about Wall Street, and the old adage, Wall Street does its best to take Main Street's money. And so we've had this big rally in the markets. So we have to be very careful here now that, now Wall Street realizes we got all of this money that has flown in there, and they're just itching to come in here and take that money back away from mom and pops that they had these big savings and stuff like that. And you know this could be the situation. You may not want to follow the crowd. So just be very mindful of what is going on in the markets. Okay. This is take two of my video. The audio didn't work a minute ago. So I'm having to do this all over again, trying to keep it short here. I do want to point out here we have a shooting star above our trend line. Okay. And we are above a very critical breakout point here on the Qs. So be very mindful of what's going on here. That this breakout, in theory, the odds favor it being supported versus a breakdown, but it is a shooting star. So you know, we have to be very mindful of that. We're a shooting star right above resistance. This is where the traps happen, guys. This is where the traps happen. So we have to be very mindful of what is happening in today's session. Go down here on the 30-minute here. Some things, takeaways I do want to have here. The shooting star body, we are trading above with inside that body of yesterday. Okay. Uh, this very critical trend line support, we're trading above that trend line support, the green line right there. Okay, we are above the expected move for the week. Okay, guys, we know that 505 is a major positive gamma call wall. So heads up on that. Above 505, accepting prices above that, it squeezes the uh, uh, anybody who sold premium. So there's a lot of call premium at 505. A lot of reason for Wall Street to want prices below 505. That's my main takeaway. Okay, guys. So be very mindful of that. If I zoom in here, the yellow is the weekly VWAP. The purple is the daily VWAP. We're currently right at both those levels. Okay. Other things, I have my central pivot range on here. Okay, guys, we're inside the upper and lower bounds of our central pivot range. Awfully close to just completely mean of yesterday's trading range, cash session trading range. So no big outliers here happening in the cues. But like I said, we are above a major breakout area. This pink area, that is a major breakout area. So if we need to start accepting prices back in the pink if you're bearish this market, because that would invalidate this, like I said, shooting star if we were to accept prices in the pink area or below. So just be very mindful of that going forward in today's trading. SPY. Okay, guys, starting the daily real quick. Daily here, guys, resistance still above us here. So we do have major resistance still above us here on the SPY. Okay, guys, go down here on a 30-minute real quick. We're right into this resistance area that rejected yesterday. Okay. The green line right there, that green trend line right there, that is our supporting trend. We're above that this morning. The red is the expected market maker move zone for the past 2 weeks. That's acting as support so far, bullish. We know 580 is the major call wall. Main Street wants prices under 580. Wall Street wants prices under 580. Main Street wants them over. So we're fighting both sides of the coin here. So be very mindful of that. Similar situation, weekly and daily VWAPs are both at the same area, and we're right smack dab in the middle of our daily CPR range to start. So basically, no decision here before the CPR numbers come out. Okay, IWM is acting weaker this morning. Let me go back over here. I want to go over here on a 5-year, and I want to show you where we're at here. On the 5-year, guys, we're right into this major resistance. This back test area, major resistance. Okay, so be very mindful of that going forward. Let me let the cat settle down. I'll be right back. I do have a trend line from the August lows. We came in, back tested that trend line as of yesterday. Go down to 30-minute real quick here, guys. And what we had going on here, pre-market, we came up into that trend line. We came into that 4-year resistance, and we never did in the cash session get back to that. So be very mindful of that. We didn't get back into that 4-year resistance in yesterday's session, cash session. IWM is very impactful on the CPI. So we have to very much on the lookout this morning. CPI and the Russel this morning. Okay, guys? And like I said, we've already got Wall Street offsides being above the expected move for the week. Okay. And so we have to be mindful of that going forward here. And we know 208 is our major line in the sand here. A lot of positive gamma at the 208. Wall Street wants prices under 208, period. Plain and simple. So we'll see how it plays out here. If they can lose 206, they would be ecstatic. So just be very mindful of that. I do want to point out here, we are getting a little bit of price discovery this morning to the downside. The central pivot on the Russell was basically value area high, value area low. All that inventory from yesterday hit right about the same price point. It is not supportive at all. This is typically a setup on the daily time frame for price discovery up or down. It's not really typically this situation with the central pivot suggests that actually suggests that there might be some exhaustion here on the IWM to the upside. So really very suggestive of that. We are below weekly VWAP and currently trading right at VWAP itself. So this, a lot of things are not looking that good here on the Russell this morning before CPI, which all can change after CPI comes out. But I'm just saying, right here, right now, I might be doing IWM short again. So I was short IWM yesterday. I took a profit. Oh man, I got out way too early. It came back up a little bit, and I would have been a little bit underwater yesterday morning. I got in from the open and made a little bit of profit on the short. It came back up about where I got in, just a little, I would have been under a little bit. And boy, from that point there, it was actually a 500% return. Uh, uh, it turned out to be a 500% return on the drawdown yesterday. So be very mindful of that. What was it on the 5 minute maybe? Maybe the 5 minute shows it better. 10, 9:30. Yeah. It did have a little bit. Right after I got out, it had a little bitty pop. Let me go 2 minute. Show it a little bit better. 9. Yeah. So I actually captured this move right here. It got another pop, and then it just completely. That's a 500% return right there, guys, on the lottos. The 208 puts. 208 puts. Because we know the 208 is a major call wall positive. So I got the 208 puts, the opposite side of the equation. 500% return right there, guys, on that one little move down there. Wow. That's kind of amazing, So just some takeaways that I got right there. Okay. Another thing I did want to point out here on the megatechs, we got several of the megatechs actually crossing over their Ichimoku cloud this morning. So on the daily time frame, so several of the Ichimoku or several of the megatechs are crossing over. I think Nvidia looks the strongest of the group. So, but like I said, everything's down a little bit this morning. So definitely want to keep that on watch going forward here. Anything else I got going on here? We got the pre-markets. Tesla topping. Looks like Tesla's really busy this morning. Nvidia down this morning. We do have a lot of the Japanese names, Japanese internet names. They are reporting this week. A lot of them are. Okay, it looks like I don't know if the news doesn't look like it's out yet. So JD might be reporting this morning. So be very mindful of that. Tesla is down this morning. Heads up on that. Down from the close here. We are down from the close. So be very mindful of that. We're below the weekly VWAP. How about in the video? We're below weekly on it too. Right at the weekly VWAP. I mean, this one here is looking constructive. We could be seeing 126 here on NVIDIA today. So I definitely want to be very mindful of that. It doesn't look like the setup. We could be digesting sideways today on NVIDIA, setting up for a bigger move Wednesday to 126. Our major resistance 126. The trends are not really lining up. So I could definitely see a digestive period here on the video to set up the trend channel back test to 126. So I could definitely see that happening today. Can't remember if I got a trend line for NVIDIA or Tesla or not. Let me see here. Tesla's right into the fair value gap area. Heads up on this major back test happening here on Tesla. Be very mindful of this, the major back test. Potentially, and at any moment, this could reject. So we have to be very mindful of that. So ultimately we were looking at 328 on Tesla. How high did we get yesterday? 323. So we got awful close to it. Got awful close to that target. You know, there is a fair value gap that hasn't completely filled yet. So let's be mindful of that. Might want to consolidate here. And I did want to point out here, this is where our Ichimoku cloud is located, right there. So we are still inside the cloud this morning here on the Tesla. I can't remember if I had NVIDIA drawn out or not. Nope, I don't have it drawn out. Yeah, I have it drawn out. So we're still inside the cloud on NVIDIA. Extend to the right. So we could very well just need to be digesting again today. Those are our two main ones this morning. I called out Palantir short yesterday. It's continuing to fade a little bit. I told this was a major area. This is where the CEO came out and warned right here that their guidance, they had to lower their guidance and stuff because of Doge. And guess what? We're continuing to see some weakness this morning. Heads up on that. Could very well be a rejection, double top rejection, or actually a triple top rejection of the highs here. Major potential highs here for Palantir. So that's pretty much the ones that are really standing out here. Other ones, I've been watching Apple. I think Apple needs more time. It's on the bearish side. Right here is the bearish side of the cloud. Ichimoku cloud. This thing here is probably going to need to digest into the end of the week. For if it can hold the 210 into the end of the week, this thing could be setting up for a breakout. If it can consolidate, I'm not saying that we're going to. Microsoft, I know some guys, to me, this is constructive for a breakout to me. I mean, it's bull flagging above support. Do I really want, we're coming into this, I mean, I, I would much rather trade Microsoft for a breakout than a breakdown, personally. I know a couple groups that I'm in, they're looking for the downside. I mean, this, to me, everything here looks like it's setting up for a breakout. I know a lot of things seem to be overextended on Microsoft. A lot of people use oscillators and stuff, but technically, without using the oscillators, this thing here, to me, it looks like it's ready to take off. So, I mean, and take it from me, I have made more money on Microsoft than any other stock out there, and I'm telling you that that looks like a breakout. This here looks like a breakout. Boeing looks like a breakout. I'd much rather be long Boeing. We did a back test yesterday. Now we're coming up again today. Looks like a breakout. How's AMD doing? AMD is rejecting resistance. We did a back test already. Okay, so we have done a back test already on AMD. If it comes back up into VWAP, I would be looking to the short side on AMD to prove it otherwise. Just definitely keep that one on watch here. Facebook. Meta was doing a breakout yesterday. Meta was doing a very important breakout yesterday. We're holding in here. We are actually crossing out above the cloud this morning. So we're opening at 1 a.m. We are pushing out above our cloud level here. So heads up on that daily cloud. I don't know if it's going to get any continuation or not, but definitely want to keep this one on watch as constructive. So we're actually looking for a back test, a potential back test. This is our major resistance, possibly coming back down into our major resistance, setting up for a back test breakout potential here for Meta. So if this thing were to play out here, I would be looking anywhere around the 630 area, as being supported. So, bottom line is I would want 630 to be supported, or, even this trend line. A back test of this trend line still a valid long, anywhere in the inside those candles from yesterday. Look for back test longs here for Meta. Google, I think you're going to fill the fair value gap from last week. My primary thesis is, don't get me wrong, it's a very bearish chart, but I don't want to be short Google until we can fill this fair value gap. Okay, so that's my personal take on it. Just this heads up on that. I would be looking for the feel of the fair value gap before I actually initiated new shorts, because it's just not the best place to be initiating shorts, in my opinion. Okay, on that Amazon. Uh, so we came into major resistance yesterday. We are potentially breaking out of the daily cloud this morning. There we go. We're potentially breaking out of the daily cloud, potentially. Like I said, it's only potential. This is not a supportive. We came in yesterday and it just pretty much stopped dead in its tracks. So basically, if we start accepting prices over the 208.60, if we start accepting prices above that, then you might be looking for a long position starting to set up here in Amazon for a breakout on the bullish side of the cloud. Okay, guys, not for sure necessarily saying that's what we should be doing. But, that's just a few things I'm looking at here. Is there any, forget, oh, I did NVIDIA, I did. Netflix got spanked yesterday. I've been looking for that pullback. We got a really nice pullback on Netflix yesterday. Is there any others here? MSTR got a nice pullback yesterday. Came right back into our support area. This is still a constructive. We're defending these prior highs right here. This is a bullish pattern until otherwise proven otherwise. So, this, I would much rather be net long MSTR here than short. Yeah, just heads up on that going forward here. Okay. Does PDD report? No, didn't report yet. Baba, did it report yet? No. So I think JD is the first one to report. So heads up on that in today's session. Yes, I don't even watch SMCI too much. No. Okay, just not a lot happening here on the no, not a lot happening here on the morning session. Coin had a one hell of a day. When did that happen? After hours. Look at coin after hours, guys. I don't know what the news is on that. Wow. Go over in the daily time frame. Wow. We're at 227. Wow. Wow, we got a nice little inverted head and shoulders breakout after hours here on coin. We were looking at it yesterday, but the setup just never triggered. And wouldn't you know it, they do it after hours. That figures. All right, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you guys later.